however many, I guess it was almost 40 years earlier, 35 years earlier. So that's coming up. And
Okay.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Will Scott, Chairman of the Historic Preservation Commission. Tonight, in our regular meeting, we are past 7 o'clock for the start. I apologize for the delay. We had a technical issue. I would like to have everybody who's on the staff and on the commission to quickly introduce themselves. Mr. Tower?
I'm John Tower, Chief of Historic Preservation.
Mary Bannon, Historic Preservation Commissioner.
Cecil Cummins, Historic Preservation Commissioner.
Bill Williams, Vice Chair, Historic Preservation Commission.
Ms. Gold?
Kimberly Mosley Golder, Commissioner, Historic Preservation Commission.
Cheryl Wood, Counsel to the Commission.
Thank you. Thank you all. Since we have a quorum, we will call the meeting to order and take brief announcements and reports from Mr. Tower.
So just to repeat, there is a celebration of Lafayette's 200th anniversary of his trip to Annapolis. He was released from French prison. I think that was to get him out of the country and spread a little goodwill about the rights of man and get him out of France. And he came here. This was one of his first stops. He had a lot of feting, balls, all sorts of good things to welcome as a hero. There will be many free events, and this is coming up in early December. So second weekend in December. So I'll see if I can post something on our site about this.
Is there any kind of site that is for the general public to utilize to know about these events?
Well, I don't know yet, but
Okay.
I'll
Please
put
let
it
us
out.
know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just for fun. It really is. And he will be, there will be a Lafayette reenactor, and he will be in some of the buildings that the actual Lafayette was in.
Sounds interesting. Violations?
Okay, violations. So the trash enclosure at 181 Prince George Street was denied for a number of reasons. One, it's in the public right-of-way. Two, it was built without HPC consent. It's also denied by Public Works, and we'll see where that goes.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're getting very organized with our violations, and things are a little bit quieter now that the major applications for the city dock have been approved.
Okay. Thank you, John. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Our normal course of business would be to review the minutes of our last meeting, which was only a week ago. And our secretary is, as I may have mentioned, out of town for a family event. So we do not have those findings, and we'll move forward with the only item on our agenda for public review. And that's an application for a mural on Duke of Gloucester Street. John, would you briefly state what that application is for?
The application is for a mural on the gable end of an early 19th century building, which has been stuccoed and altered so that it has no fenestration on that facade. I'm sure there were windows there at one point, but there are no longer. And the stucco was already painted. The mural went up at least, it's in its preliminary state without approval, and the applicant is here tonight to present for hopeful approval. In my initial staff report, I recommended as a requirement that certain verbiage had to be removed from the mural, and it has been. And we received a revision today showing that.
Okay, thank you, John. Would the applicant please come forward and be seated at the table where the microphone is located? Before you begin, because we're a quasi-judicial board, we ask that anyone who speaks be sworn in. So do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is factual to the best of your knowledge? Yes, sir. Okay, would you please introduce yourself briefly? Oh, there's a little button that says push, right in the center.
I don't have my glasses.
Okay. I guess that we need to do this again, just so it's on the record. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is factual to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you very much. Now, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Betty Buck. I live here in Annapolis. I've been a resident of Anne Arundel for many, many years. My family originally was from Prince George's, and we had a company called Buck Distributing Company Incorporated. I sold that, and I started this foundation for my son, who was a Navy corpsman and died in service. So we've been in this building and renovated it and worked with John to have that done 4 years ago. And so this mural, I had talked to someone at the city, and they said that as long as it was just a picture, it was fine. I totally apologize for not getting an earlier approval. I did not know I needed it.
Let me apologize on behalf of the city. That was misinformation, and I'm sorry that you were led astray by that. But thank you for working with Mr. Tower.
Absolutely.
And coming forward tonight.
Absolutely. I'm glad to do it because, of course, it has a very deep meaning for me. And even some of the young naval cadets that come by are very interested in it because they all see what's going on in our service.
Yeah.
So the mural is truly meant to bring attention to suicide prevention and to sexual assault prevention in all branches of the service. And that's what I work towards at HM2 Buck Foundation for Hope.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us and explaining the purpose of the mural. You heard Mr. Tower explain what's going on and recommend approval with the designs, revised designs you presented with today. Do you have anything else that you would like to add to that? I feel comfortable for us to discuss and review that based on having seen the revised designs and Mr. Tower's presentation, but you may add whatever else you would like.
I will apologize for the lack of artistic ability, but I knew you needed it today. And the young lady who is my artist, her husband is in intensive care dying of pancreatic cancer. So I didn't think that I should ask her for that. So, you know, from John Tower and I talking, I thought that this would be a good compromise. It would just have a bow instead of the other ribbon, but it would have the teal and purple colors and take the verbiage away. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Okay, thank you. Do the commissioners, any commissioners have questions of the applicant? Mr. Williams?
Looking at your logo right now, you're going to maintain the 2 gold stars. Are you going to also have the gold ring around it to separate it from the images?
I didn't need to. That's totally up to what you guys prefer.
Well, what do you prefer?
I would like the gold ring.
The gold ring's approvable.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Other questions?
I have a question. Can you just explain the change from the one ribbon to the 2 colors?
It's not a ribbon, it's a bow. I just used the 2. Yes, yes, I brought that in today, and I have a copy I can give you.
Oh, I have it up here. I just
Okay.
wasn't sure whether that
Like I
was.
said, I'm not that artistic, but it's an actual
Okay.
bow, like goes on a present.
Okay, and can you explain the colors?
Teal is for suicide prevention, and purple is for sexual assault, or I have it backwards. That's why those 2 colors were important.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant?
If I have a question regarding the staff report regarding the design.
Okay.
Would that be appropriate now?
Right now, let's concentrate on asking the applicant for clarification.
Yeah, this would be a question for the applicant based on staff comment. Is that appropriate
Yes.
now?
Yep.
Or-
No, that is appropriate now. Sorry.
So on the document that I received here from a staff recommendation, one of the things that it talked about with a potential for conditional approval was a QR code. Do you have a plan for the size and scope of what that might be if you decided to pursue that?
Oh, it
if
would
this
be
was
something
approved?
small that, you know, if you were walking by with a cell phone, you could make use of it, but not anything, just
And
like,
would that be painted on, or would it be like an affixed?
I don't know enough about that to know if it can be painted. I really don't.
The stucco is slightly irregular surface. I mean, I don't know how accurately depicted a QR code has to be. So we'll work it out. I mean, this can be worked out at staff level.
And if there's any way I could put the artist's name on here, she's just done such a great job. And right now, with her husband dying and 2 small kids, this is going to be her livelihood. So
Well, that's typical.
okay.
Yeah. Like signing a painting.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Any other questions? Ms. Golder? Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation. We'll now debate whether we wish to approve it or not. And you may sit there, and there might be some other questions that come up
Okay.
we want to ask you. Okay. Any commissioners want to indicate their opinion? And you can also ask the staff questions at this time.
Having reviewed the staff report and the reasoning and the importance and the symbolism of this mural goes without saying. And I would just say, you know, my heart goes out to you as a mother.
Thank you.
I truly empathize and sympathize with you and your situation, and I would vote yes.
Thank you.
Very much feel the same way. Very much in support of the cause here, and I think the revision seems to be very much in alignment with the code that we have reviewed. I think, you know, the only question I have is, you know, would it be appropriate for us to put parameters on, you know, the QR code at all? Because I know that might be something separate, but I also don't want that necessarily to delay a process tonight.
Yeah, well, that's a good question and a good point. And as John was saying to the applicant, that's something because of its scope, its size, that can be approved administratively. So as long as the condition is there that it must be reviewed and approved administratively, we've done our due diligence and addressed your concern, which I think we all would share.
Perfect. Yep, that was the only comment I have. So if that is, again, administrative approval, then I have no concerns on the QR code at all whatsoever.
Okay, anyone else comment? I'll just observe that I would agree with the comments that are made. And as I said earlier to the applicant, we appreciate your patience in working with Mr. Tower. I think we've resolved the issues, and Mr. Tower's report covers the appropriate parts of our code and guidelines and how this complies with the conditions that he's recommended. So I don't think there's any further discussion at this time, so I accept a motion.
A motion to advance?
Mr. Williams makes the motion,
Second.
and Ms. Golder seconds it. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Commission unanimously approves your application, and
Thank you all so
I'm sorry
much.
for your loss, and I hope that this helps bring attention to the issues.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, and I apologize. I've done this many times, and I overlooked the importance of asking for public comment. And we want to do that, and we must do that. Is there any member of the public who would like to speak about this application? It's not required. Please, come to the podium.
I don't have a formal statement, and
That's fine. We don't need formality. We need push the button, sign in, and please identify yourself.
Okay, my name is Peter Nesbitt. I live at 152 Conduit Street, which is directly across the street of the site. I see it out my living room window. I saw work commence on the site, and was very intrigued. So I followed the progress from afar without comment to anybody, but just very intrigued. I'm also the director of the Mitchell Art Museum on St. John's College campus, so I have a deep commitment to the arts in this town. And I just want to speak also as a member of the public in favor of its presence. I think it's a very powerful story. I think it's what I can tell of the mural itself. It looks like it's going to be a great contribution to the aesthetics of the neighborhood itself. And I think it actually could be quite a pilgrimage site of sorts. So I just want to say thank you to you for bringing this to the neighborhood. And I want to say thank you to the commission for supporting the application after the fact.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nesbitt. Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing that there are no other members of the public that are interested in speaking tonight, I'll close the public hearing. There is no other business on our agenda for this evening. So we can now discuss other matters if we wish.
I wasn't sure. I know you didn't have the agenda printed out. 1014 Church Circle, is that something we're discussing?
Thank you for asking. The architect for the project was not prepared to come forward this evening, and so we've removed that from the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay. With no other business, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Williams,
Second.
Ms. Golders, motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
No, I want to